Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Man, people already here. Leisure Man, Michelle. Good to see you both. Yeah. No. You get rid of that shit. Therapy. Man, I had a really cool therapist. I really appreciate her, man. With the work that I do, she does a lot of the same work that I do, helping other people. And, obviously she's a little more clinical than I. Right now I'm working on this, on a business. I'm going to be helping these people. They're called All the Way Well. I've got a lot of different ways that I can help them. But what I'm going to be doing is, did they not take care of the cats before they left? Great. I'm going to have to hear that. Dunk. You got to give me about 45 seconds. I apologize, but I got to go take care of these cats, or they will drive me absolutely bonkers. Peace. All right. Thank you for letting me do that. Hey, Heather. Man, all sorts of people. Sorry, everybody. I had to take care of the cats. There's a couple of cats upstairs. Some of them we need to keep separated. You got to keep them separated. But they'll go to the door and they'll just go dunk. Ben, where the hell you been? Good to see you, brother. Heather, you slipped in. Claire, Joyce, Amber, Leisure, Michelle. Good job. Michelle says, made a cashier smile today. Just made my week. Yeah, we're given this joyful life, and we should pass it on. You got to pass it on to other people. And but what I'm getting ready to work on is, if you're looking for a recovery coach, a peer support specialist, what you can do is you can go to my page. There's a difference between recovery coaching and peer support. Big difference. One is about resources. The other is a little more clinical, or we can get into our experience, help them with goal planning, somebody to talk to. But a recovery coach helps people in recovery try and find primary, resources, primary care physician. Maybe you're filling out job application, different kinds of things. So you go online and you can go through and depending on what you're looking for is what it'll bring back. Right. And what I'm doing is I'm connecting peer support people with clients, because part of the problem out here is this: the professionals do not trust the people in recovery coaching, peer support, and things like that, because of some things that happen. I'm not going to go into it. But what they do is they tend to include AA into that. So they're not referring to AA. And I'm trying to make that change in Colorado and build that trust back up. All right. And my job will be to take care of the peer support people. That includes training, their own type of training, like how to get an EIN, how to open a bank account, how to write what is called a DAT note, which stands for Data Assessment and Treatment. Been singing Tom's Diner. gotta keep them separated. Dun 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 dun. All right. Here's another one for you. Mananana. You're welcome. I remember when I was younger, my grandma was always like, sing the baloney song. Well, my baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. Sing Tom's Diner. You say, and I know that song, but the only thing that's popping into my head is Uncle Tom's Cabin by Warrant. So, all right, let's do what we call captions, which is just welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. I did not put the light on behind me this time around. I just didn't feel like doing it. If you're here, please say hello, whether or not you're watching the live, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. We're going to be talking about Tradition 1 today in the 12 by 12. If you'd like to follow along, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Tradition 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. Now, I'd like to, of course, pre-qualify this a little bit by saying I don't know of any other program. I'm sure there's other ones out there, but AA seems to be that totes on the individual every right to think how you want, believe how you want, act how you want, speak how you want. Right? AA is all about that. See, we understand that alcohol is no respecter of persons. And I don't, and just like alcohol don't care, I don't care either. I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you came from. I don't care your gender. I don't care what gender you prefer. Doesn't matter to me. Right? AA should always be all inclusive, never exclusive. All right, let's get started. The unity of Alcoholics Anonymous is the most cherished quality our society has. Our lives, the lives of all to come, depend squarely upon it. We stay whole or AA dies. Without unity, the heart of AA would cease to beat. Our world arteries would no longer carry that life-giving grace back to God. His gift to us would be spent aimlessly back again in their caves. Alcoholics would reproach us and say, what a great thing AA might have been. Community Resource Network or Resource Center is going to let us start using a space for free to be able to hold AA meetings. Why? Because they see it as a benefit for their own clients. That's why. And they're even like, we're doing this because it's selfish. I'm like, yeah, but it's the right kind of selfish. It's the right kind of selfish that you want your clients to have more of an opportunity to wellness. And I'm all for that. I said, we're being selfish too. We want your space. All right. But they're not going to take our 7th tradition money. They said, all we're going to do is invest that back into you. So you might as well decide where you're going to spend that money. We don't really want it, nor do we need it. Right. Because they understand that without a group, most people, they die an alcoholic death. Alcoholism is a lonely disease. So we need each other. We need each other. It takes a tribe to get someone and keep someone sober. And that includes their higher power, right? So, does this mean, some will anxiously ask, and we're going to, they're just going to repeat what I said. Well, never mind. Does this mean someone anxiously asks that in AA the individual doesn't count for much? Is he be dominated by his group and swallowed up in it? We may certainly answer this question with a loud no. We believe there isn't a fellowship on earth which lavishes more devoted care upon its individual members. Surely there is none which more jealously guards the individual's right to think, talk, and act as he wishes. That's right, Leisure. It's a we program, not a we all the way home. All right. You take that W, turn it upside down. We go from a me style of life to a we style of life. Being able to go to a meeting and explain what's going on. How many times do you hear somebody say, they talked and they were kind of all over the place, besides all of us. And they're like, I don't even know if you could understand that. And everybody in the room starts nodding their head. Yep. Oh, we get it. We get it. We understand. I think loneliness is the biggest one. I used to describe my loneliness to people that didn't understand. And it made me I just felt more set apart. I felt lonelier because of it. And so therefore I just kept to myself because I would rather be tortured by my own demons than it to be added on by people who do not understand. It makes it worse, right? So loneliness is one of the big ones because when we're not lonely, we become more useful. We start thinking of others. We start thinking of ourselves less and thinking of others more. When we go to do something or make a decision, it won't be based on what we want, but the needs of others around us. But the needs of everyone around us. Heather says, the change from illness to wellness. Another great way to put it. Leisure Man says, I saw myself in every person at my first meeting. Yeah. We used to say, before the internet really got big, we used to say, they've been reading my mail. All right. No AA can compel another to do anything. Nobody can be punished or expelled. Our 12 steps to recovery are suggestions. The 12 traditions which guarantee AA's unity contain not a single don't. They repeatedly say we ought, but never you must, right? So, this allows for a freedom to be wrong and finding out that it's okay. The traditions are just one long 10th step on how they screwed it up first, right? To many minds, all this liberty for individuals spells sheer anarchy. Not really, because we only have one singleness of purpose. We have a singleness of purpose, and that's what everybody goes for. It is our landing spot to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. It's our only purpose. But that purpose in and of itself is so big that it keeps hundreds of thousands of alcoholics busy. Every newcomer, every friend who looks at AA for the first time is greatly puzzled. They see liberty verging on license, yet they recognize at once that AA has an irresistible strength of purpose and action. How, they ask, can such a crowd of anarchists function at all? How can they possibly place their common welfare first? What in heaven's name holds them together? The number one thing that holds us together is our understanding. I just kind of talked about it, is our understanding of what each other is going through. It's the number one thing. It's an altruistic movement. AA is one of the only programs, and that includes some of the other ones that I agree with. Even our membership rule. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. You don't have to be an alcoholic. You don't have to be an alcoholic to go to a closed AA meeting. You just need a desire to stop drinking. If you go to the grassroots meeting and you say, I'm Dion and I have a desire to stop drinking, that's going to be good enough for us. It is. We help all sorts of people. Absolutely, we do. My first ex-wife, I met her in the program. She's not alcoholic. She was there because of a DUI. And I tell you now, she never, ever, ever, ever did it again. But she learned some things from AA too. She did, right? And that has helped her sustain through the rest of her life. You know, she didn't drink like I did, right? The number two thing that Leisure says, the number two thing that holds us together is a desire to not want to die. I'm going to add one more word onto that. Anymore. So the desire to not want to die anymore. Don't tell me you didn't pick an age that you were going to probably die by. We all did. It's part of the process of how we joke around about our alcoholism. It's usually 30, 24, 35. Oh, I'll be dead by the time I'm 35. When I got here, I wanted me dead. I loathed me. If there was one person in this world that I thought should fucking suffer, it was me. And love me. And I'd wake up in the morning cursing God that I was still alive. How in the hell, how much more alcohol do I need to put into my body before I'm out of here, God? Not a great way of thinking. But yeah, now we have that will to survive again, right? I will survive. I will survive. Yeah, yeah. Oh. All right, let's get back to it. Those who look closely soon have the key to this strange paradox. The AA member has to conform to the principles of recovery. His life actually depends upon obedience to spiritual principles. If he deviates too far, the penalty is sure and swift. He sickens and dies. All right. Now, we're not big on that word conform. Right. I went up there. I opened the window, the cats. I opened the window. I gave them treats, and they're still, so they must need something else. I'll go check on them after this. Make sure they have water and stuff. So if he deviates, the penalty is sure and swift. He sickens and dies. Now, it's not always sure and swift. You can, I see a lot of two-stepping, most of it outside of the program anymore, where they just admit that they were an alcoholic and then they want to help other people. But there's no real experience in there. They didn't really do any work to become a better person. So what are we left with? We're left with positivity. That's all we're left with. All right. And that positivity in and of itself becomes toxic. I'm not calling someone toxic. We know how I feel about that word. All right. Toxic, positive. Well, you just weren't. You got to have a good attitude. Okay. Fuck you. How's that for a good attitude? I feel pretty good about that. Fuck you. You can laugh at this stuff. It's funny. At first, he goes along because he must, but later discovers a way of life he really wants to live. Not everybody, nobody wants to go to AA in the beginning. But for a lot of us, after a little while, we wouldn't have it any other way. We appreciate the fact that we do get to go to AA, that we do have a wealth of friends, right? That we We have a place to go where everybody knows our name. AA's. We go from the bar, Cheers. Remember the show Cheers? Go walking in there at Norm. Now you walk in doing AA meeting. They may not know your name, but they know you. All right. You'll hear me say a lot in here because people give me crap every now and again. They're like, you need to use I statements. Okay, well, I say fuck you. I'm having fun with this one. All right. Need to use I statement. Now, there's some things we all alcoholics think, do, say, and act. Patterns do not lie. All right. I'm surprised people aren't listening to the age they said that they thought they were going to die. That's a we thing. See, some of these things are a we thing. Resentments, manipulation, denial, not knowing how to be honest. These are all things that we have in common. Moreover, he finds he cannot keep this priceless gift unless he gives it away. Give it away. Cannot be paid for. In fact, one of the things for my peer support thing is if you don't have sponsees, but you have clients, I'm not going to hire you. I'm not going to bring you on. Not until you take somebody else through the 12 steps. That's actually a little short-sighted thinking. You had to have done some kind of work to become a better person. We'll put it that way. Because AA is not the only way. That'd be silly. It's my preferred way. I prefer AA. I like the structure, right? I like the structure, and I have the book memorized. As I proved yesterday, I was yeah, Heather, I am reading your mail. Right. All right. When we get here, we all have a couple things in common, but this is one thing that we all have in common. We feel we are terminally unique. If you had my problems, you'd drink too. If you had my wife, my husband, you'd drink too. If you had my job, if you had my children, well, I do, but I ain't drinking. Well, shit, I can't use that excuse anymore, can I? Because somebody else brought it up in a meeting and they're staying, so well, fuck. There's two things that die when you get to AA: bullshit and loneliness. And they're great things to lose when you get to the program. We also all have the gift of desperation. Okay. And that desperation is almost always an outside source. Might be it might be a nudge from the judge. It might be, you don't want to lose your wife. You don't want to lose your husband. Your granddaughter came up to you and said, I don't like you when you're drinking. These are outside forces that get to us. So we make a decision to go to AA, or maybe we're forced to go to AA, and you're not even forced to go to AA. You can go do jail time if you want. Okay, it's still a choice. Still a choice. So see, everybody that came into AA did not really get sober for themselves. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. Now we got to get to a place where we can work the program for ourselves. Some of us get there a lot quicker than others. That's okay too. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. All right. The spiritual experience that it can be of the educational variety, where it happens slowly over a period of time. Not all of us are struck sober. So you can't keep this unless you give it away. And by give it away, that means unconditionally, without expecting anything in return. Right? If your sponsor is demanding things from you, Nope. Well, that's not totally true. I think I'm just trying to justify something in my head. I was in a meeting earlier. When sponsors tell their sponsees to get off meds, it worries me. I'm just going to put it that way. Make sure you go through your doctor. And this person was, and I'm very proud that they finished it with, but I'm going to ask my doctor because that's who we should be talking to about. Now, what I can do is, I can give you my experience with that med. I might be able to do that. But I shouldn't be going beyond that. Now I'm telling somebody what to do, and we got to quit playing God in the third step. Right? This is where the balance comes in on when and how to give. It is when and how to give is not based upon my opinion, and it shouldn't be. So, just like I was saying, if somebody wants to be a peer support specialist with us, you could probably understand why I think that you sponsoring other people is more important than those clients. And they best be a priority. All right. Neither he nor anybody else can survive unless he carries AA's message. Right? And that's what I've been doing in Colorado. Have I been carrying the message straight to alcoholics? No, I've been carrying the message to the people that are working with alcoholics in a professional field. Because, see, they might trust that therapist. Well, I talked to this other guy. He runs some AA. I mean, you might want to check him out. Well, I trust you, Doc. I'm willing to do that. This is what we call friends of AA. They are the people in AA. We're not allowed to promote. So therefore, we have to let other people do it. Yeah. The moment this 12th step work forms a group, another discovery is made that most individuals cannot recover unless there is a group. And this was proven during COVID. A lot of people went out. There's a saying, meeting makers make it. It's not one I bring up very often. Meeting makers make it is a good start, but you cannot get this program by osmosis. If that's what it's not our best line, I don't think, right? Because there's other work to do. What if Dion just went to meetings? Do you think you would get this? You think I'd be able to do what it is what I do? No, I've got to take that extra step. I've always got to be moving forward. Progress. Then realization dawns that he is but of a small part of a great whole, that no personal sacrifice is too great for the preservation of the fellowship. I take this to an extreme. What? I do. I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I get to do this pretty much all the time because I want to. I love carrying the message. I love making other people's lives better because I can. A lot of times I'll hear people say, why am I an alcoholic? Well, because you can help when no one else can. And if that answer doesn't satisfy you, you might not be drunk. You might not be done getting drunk. Right? For me, I'm not sure where that applies on what you were talking about, Amber, but I'm going to have to agree. Because you and I have a lot of the same thought process. So, probably what I was just talking about for me. Okay. Yeah. Claire Joy said, step takes make it. Meeting makers and step takers make it. There we go. We just need to add a little bit on, right? Ugh. Most individuals cannot recover unless there is a group. Realization dawns that he's a small part of a great whole, no personal sacrifice. He learns that the clamors of desire and ambitions must within him must be silenced whenever these could damage the group. It becomes plain that the group must survive or the individual will not. Oh, YouTube screened you again? They just don't. You're the only one screened. I'm going to see if I can go find it here real quick. I'm going to have to do a pause. There we go. Balls. I said, next step for me is going deep into the traditions. Oh, but you can't say balls deep. Why can't you fucking say that here? That's bullshit. Same as it ever was. See? Yeah. So he's at Amendment 2, man. Freedom of speech. All right. And I literally mark these videos as unsafe for children so that we can speak the way that we want to. So, all right. It is plain the group must survive or the individual will not. If you're a Spock fan, there you go, right? There we go. So don't be coming around here saying that you're going to go balls deep into the traditions or YouTube. But when you say it, you can separate it and I'll do. So if you say balls deep, it won't print it. But if you say balls and post it, then deep, then you can post it. We alcoholics are great at circumventing systems. Right. So at the outset, how best to live and work together as group became our prime question. Yeah, you caught my talking heads one, huh? This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. It's because you're an alcoholic. That's what happens when you black out, dude. I remember this one blackout I had. All right. And you can do it that way. Just put a period there. They'll let Clara Joy say it, but they're not going to let Amber say it. Oh, and thank you. I'm glad that we get to have fun, and I'm glad that we get to have fun here, and that we can joke about things, and we don't take it personally and stuff. So, Amber says I heard unalive the other day. Why don't we just say suicide or dead? What they're using on TikTok so they don't get screened. Oh, okay. Okay. So at the outset, how best to live and work together. In the world about us, we saw personalities destroying whole peoples. The struggle for wealth, power, and prestige was tearing humanity apart as never before. These three things don't belong in AA. They shouldn't actually. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than that. They don't belong in the field of recovery at all. If you're going after one of these three things, wealth, power, prestige, I can tell you now, I won't hire you. And I'll know. I will know. All right. Well, I got 50 clients this week. Well, no, you don't. Something's going on. All right. So anyway. If strong people were stalemated in the search for peace and harmony, what was to become of our erratic band of alcoholics? As we as once struggled and prayed for individual recovery, just so earnestly did we commence to quest for the principles through which AA itself might survive. On anvils of experience, the structure of our society was hammered out. And they're talking about the first 100 and then plenty of them to come after. Right? And these anvils of experience, though they explain it in more in depth in the traditions. Countless times in as many cities and hamlets, we reenacted the story of Eddie Rickenbacker and his courageous company when their plane crashed in the Pacific. Before I comment on that, I'd like to go back a little bit and say that I appreciate the people that have even finding out new things, like with Zoom, because Zoom's a little bit newer for us, right? Even on there, the meeting runs a little bit differently. But what we're doing is the mistakes that we're making on Zoom probably aren't going to be made in 2-3 years. And I'll tell you the biggest problem with Zoom. Well, it's wealth, power, and prestige. Mostly the power and prestige. When I started the grassroots meeting, I let everybody know that my first intention was to make it to where Dion was not chairing every meeting, and I don't. In fact, I don't even know that I'm signed up for this month. I'm a backup now, and it's awesome. I have no control over that meeting, and it's great. I don't want it. I don't want it. It's not. It's for all of us. Was I selfish about who I invited in the beginning? Yeah, I was. Oh, that cat's gonna drive me crazy. Let me go mute for 1 second. You probably saw my face get angry. I can't yell and sound angry without furrowing my brow. Furrow. It is furrowed. Amber says I helped make that apparent. Thanks. Oh, not only that, but if this wasn't a we program, I couldn't come on here. We couldn't have fun. I like doing this, but the fact that we have fun on here, looks like you're yelling at God. Fuck you, God. Not today. Sunday, I swore at him a little bit. So when the plane crashed in the Pacific, like us, they had suddenly found themselves safe from death, but still floating upon a perilous sea. How well they saw that their common welfare come first. None might be selfish of water or bread. Each needed to consider the others, and in abiding faith, they knew they must find their real strengths. Yeah. Somebody had mentioned the other day, she's there. Clara mentioned the other day that it was neat to be in a group that was growing. And it was one thing that I wanted several of my friends to experience. Because yesterday I went to an in-person meeting. Those brown baggers, I helped start that in 1989. It's still going. Wasn't my idea. I didn't put it together. I just happened to show up on the day before they were getting ready to start, and they said, Dion, would you like to help us get this going? I'm like, yes, I would. I had just gotten out of the Phoenix concept and was living with my mom and my stepdad. And but I like to stop by there because it reminds me, that it is still going on and that it is happening. So it's neat because the grassroots, we're trying to think of anything that'll make Zoom a little bit better, a little bit more approachable, right? And my mindset on it lately has really been, how do we attract the younger people? Do I need to put neon lights? Do we need to, like you should have, even though a physical basket goes around and you put your dollar in, a lot of in-person meetings now have a QR code right on it. And that's a meeting people where they are at. What is most convenient for them? Because the more we make it less evasive, the chances of you staying sober go up. Right? In the grassroots meeting, a lot of people complain that people don't turn on their cameras. And there's an accountability factor there. And really, that's what we're going through. But the question was, do we want them to turn on their cameras because that's what we want, or because we know it'll be better for them and we can support them? And it was the second one, right? So our line is, even it is not required for you to turn your camera on here, but we do encourage you to turn on your camera when sharing, okay? Because we don't care what you look like. Well, I was sick and nobody should see this today. So you never went to the liquor store looking like that? Never? Bullshit. Right? These are things in AA. And people are turning on their cameras. Not required to. And if you don't, we're not going to give you a hard time about it either. We just want you to know that you're not going to be judged because you turn on your camera and you look different. All right. I mean, heck, there's a guy, he's a young kid that's been going, he hasn't come here, so I don't want to say his name, and he has purple hair. So, okay. All right. All right. They must find their real strength, and this they did in measure to transcend all the defects of their frail craft, every test of uncertainty, pain, fear, and despair, and even the death of one. Now, the thing is, one person, tip jar on the speaker's table. One person complained about that. That's actually funny. Maybe I should create a virtual tip jar. Stop telling your secret. Heather, I'm reading your mail again, huh? You've been a great addition, by the way. I'm glad you found us. And I say us because, yeah, I'm here talking, but everybody here is a part of all of this. Absolutely. Absolutely, we are. We agreed on most of it. Yeah, we did. Okay. Thus has it been with AA. By faith and by works, we have been able to build upon the lessons of an incredible experience. They live today in the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, which, God willing, shall sustain us in unity for so long as he may need us. Yeah. That's right. I can talk for 43 minutes on a page and a half. The gift of gab. I wish I could have this moment right here and the happiness and the joy and the camaraderie that I feel right now. I wish I could feel this all the time. I really do. So, but I know eventually we get sick of each other and you kick me out of your house. So, all right. That's a great place to, you know what? Let's cover that real quick before we go, because something in my brain is saying I ain't done. I know we're at 45 minutes. So let's cover the principles of the program. What are the principles that we're supposed to be practicing in all of our affairs? Drop the rock. Okay, is where I'm getting this. That's all I'm going to say. If you read this book, great. I got this book and I found that the only thing it was good for was it had the correct principles in there. If you go like here, I'm going to do this. So you can't trust Google on everything. What are the principles of AA? All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my page and you'll see how this is different. That way you can kind of see it, right? So there it is. So the first one is honesty, hope, faith. Faith is number 3, not courage. Embracing the courage to undertake through a moral inventory, right? And this is an AI overview, so who knows where it really got it from? Well, got it from Liberty Addiction, FEC. They want you to follow their stuff, but no, faith. Okay, you cannot have courage without faith. It's got to be faith. Step 4 is courage, not integrity. Step 5, am I off one or here or something? Because it's just doing it. All right, so honesty, hope, faith. Step 4 is courage. Step 5 is integrity. Seems like they missed something. So I'm going to stop sharing that because the comparison is not doing very good. Travis Scott, clean house, help others. Travis Scott, clean house, help others. Like, who's Travis Scott? All right. So step 4 is courage. Step 5 is integrity. Step 6 is willingness. Step 7 is humility. Step 8, brotherly love. Step 9, my favorite, justice. Is not forgiveness. All right. What did it say this one was? It said responsibility. Oh, discipline. Discipline and justice. Yeah, discipline's not even in here. All right. Step 10 is perseverance. Step 11, spiritual awareness. Step 12, service. So to unconfuse it, we're just going to go with Clara Joyce's, which is trust Travis Scott, clean house, and help others. So, all right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. These are always enjoyable. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And one day we'll be able to have everybody in front of me and everybody will go,